Any questions? And then here's May.
Yeah, May is what I wanted to.
There was an adjustment to the ponds encumbrances from what they saw at their meeting on Monday. Because of all the back and forth with the staff gauges, they originally had been ordered and encumbered against the ponds budget. It was like $17,000 for those additional 5. We have since canceled that line off the purchase order. So this year-to-date encumbered for May on my financial shows that it's in there, but I deducted it before I put it on here. So because I had taken the PO off in June, I took it off the PO in June, so it didn't show in the May stuff. So I adjusted May's to reflect that that had been removed.
So we've got a capital outlay for the admin building of $454,000.
Mhm.
When do we expect that?
Not until later this year because I'm still using your bond money.
So we think it'll be in 2027?
No, it'll be this fiscal.
It'll be this.
Yeah, it'll be this fiscal.
Any other questions?
I probably should know this, but what's the trustee fees?
That's what we have to pay for the bonds.
Okay.
Yeah. There's an annual fee associated for them to be our trustee. And so that would be for the 2023 series bonds for you guys. That's your annual charge for that.
Any other questions on that? Ed, would you like to have any commentary on that?
No, I mean, we're still running, if we spend 100% of our budget, we still have about, PPAC basically has about 650,000 carry forward. So that's holding. And I think we're at 95% or more of revenues are in from the
Yeah, you guys are sitting really good.
taxes. So it's been a while since I've looked at this. But
yeah, it's sitting really good. I checked the percents, like I look down all that every month before even the financials even go out after they're run to just check and make sure everything looks okay, like where I expect it to be, especially for where we are in the year.
All right, thank you for that. Let's move on to 7A, safety and security update.
The streetlights should be wrapped up this month. Tree trimming is going to occur. They're going to be into touch-up paint on some of the poles. I think the sod is going to be done later in the month, so that'll basically be done. We've got an agenda item later for the resurfacing and striping, which we'll talk about. So.
And does Weiser have the vehicle at this point?
No, they do not. I did get a small update on that actually this morning. They still have the lease agreement, the lease, air quotes, agreement. It's still sitting with Mr. Weiser himself. They are not able to get out of their current lease until the end of September, even with all the problems that they've had. So the truck is still here. It's been driven to the garage to put the orange and white striping on the back, and then it'll be driven to have their lights put on, and I drove it to safety and security, and then it was driven to get parked over here. But other than that, I have the set of keys, and then there's a spare set here in case it needs to get moved for some reason. So,
Keep the valves.
yep, I'll drive in when I go over to safety and security each month because I'm over here anyway. So I just hop in that and I take that over there with me. So they all got to see it last month after the meeting. They came out to the parking lot and got to see their truck. Georgia's working on some letters. We settled on roving patrol is what it'll say on the side. That was what they settled on. So that's what the doors will say. It has a little tiny broccoli sticker on the front. Little, I mean, it's like this big. It's like the whole thing with
It's
the
a
gateway and
floret,
everything.
is
It's
what you're saying.
yes, it's
Yes,
just a
a
floret.
floret.
Yes, so that's on the front, and then it has our asset number on it, and then the door will just say roving patrol. They did not want anything Pelican on it, so that's what we're going with. So it'll be all ready to go. Next time I'm over there, I will get
No
the
gateway at Pelican Preserve?
no, we're gonna get the I'll get my barcode so I can scooch through because they're gonna need that too for coming and going, so we don't have to go through the gate. I'll get that next time I'm over there because I can just pop into the resident area and grab that. So
Yeah, we didn't.
Correctly, they're going to use the leased car.
the end of September because that's when their lease is up. for the car. They're going to use that.
Is that what that means, is that
Yes.
the leased car will be used until?
The current vehicle that they have will be used through the end of that lease, which is the end of September. They cannot get out of it early. They tried. So they have to pay for it either way, so might as well keep it there.
Yeah.
That way your full tank of gas will last quite a long time, so.
And in here, there's a long paragraph or discussion about kind of the medical, there was a medical incident on one of the golf courses, and there was difficulty for the emergency crews to get to them, so, and it got very confused, I mean, it's a complicated thing, but really the golf course has to come up with and redo their emergency preparedness plan on how to deal with things. And Rich, as a private individual golfer, is working with the golf course to do that. Because the golf course is independent, the fencing and everything along tree line and around other areas is PPCA fencing. But then you've got the gatehouse, which is GSCDD, so responsibilities becomes very confusing, but it's really the golf course needs to develop their emergency response plan. And then if Gateway, PPAC, or the community association need to do something in conjunction with them, they need to bring that and work with them.
And FPL's got access issues, right, with the, going to their transformers, right? They have gates to get to their transformers.
There's a gate there that's used for Florida Power and Light. When they have to operate their switchgear, they open the gate so that they can access the switchgear.
And they
But
have
that's
access.
what they use to get onto the golf course. But
And legally, they have the authority to put an FP&L lock on that gate.
Let's not, well, I'm sure they know that, but
Oh,
let's
it's-
not bring that up.
I mean, an emergency response, they could go through any fence, any gate, anything they want to, you know, it was just, but
Yeah.
we're trying to keep everybody in their proper swim lanes, and that basically the golf course needs to take the lead
Yes.
on developing their emergency response plan and how to deal with it.
And Jennifer's putting her PPERT hat on, and she's going to be involved from the PPERT perspective, and not as, not as a safety and security, but as PPERT. And then you can see the last line there. I did order that AED. They approved it, so I placed the order last week for it. I don't have a shipment date yet, but it's been ordered, so.
Thank you.
So do we need an update on this?
Pardon
I
me?
don't think there
Do
is.
we need an update on this in 2 months or something?
Do we,
Right.
I'm talking with Rich, no, we don't need unless point of the plan. So if
Okay.
in the plan, there are certain things that are going to affect PPAC. Golf course needs to advise us, and we would need to address with them.
And Rich said that he was going to include an update for any conversations that he has regarding this as part of his member update each month in
Oh,
the
super.
the
Thank
safety
you.
and security. So
Good.
that's where the update will flow from, unless there's some action needed, you know, with being like PPAC district assets. But as of right now, none of it involves any of our assets. So.
Okay. Very good.
Ed, there's some yellow tape around some of the light pole. What is that to
Those are
be
the
painted?
Those are the poles that they're going to touch up the paint on.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to take those all out. Sorry, just like to stir the pot a little there. All right, you don't want to talk about the,
No, we have a separate agenda item for that because you have to vote on it. so.
any other questions for safety and security? Hearing none, let's move along to landscape.
Oh. B, landscape. I hate that it shrinks it.
Essentially, it's just, they've completed the plant replacement that was part of the issue that we had with authority, with getting the PO approved.
I've had a couple of emergency irrigation repairs that I have not sent to you because that's something that
And I let Mark know that I don't need to know about those, yeah.
yeah, those are things that we wouldn't wait to take to them anyway, so yeah.
I said, I appreciate the transparency, but it's not necessary. All right, so in that regard, then,
Just, what's the third roundabout?
Plaza,
Oh, okay.
the entrance to
Plaza,
Plaza.
gotcha,
yeah,
okay.
that one up there.
Gotcha, okay.
All right, any other questions? Landscaping pretty quiet and will be quiet over the summer, they're not meeting. Ponds. Doug, as the liaison for ponds, would you like to?
Jim, if you want to, you go on.
You're here.
It's your
Go ahead.
report.
It's your thing.
And Marty and
I gave you the chance.
I know.
I'm on 105 Carina Circle. The landscape update, we're pending estimates. We've received the estimates from Superior for the littoral additions on the ponds that are listed. I submitted for a PO. They should be getting that scheduled in the next couple of weeks while we're in the season with the rain.
Within budget?
It's well within the budget. Let's see, item 2, was working with Paul. We have some signs and posts. He has the contractor, so he will get a couple of other pond signs. Trentino had requested saying that there was no pond signs on any of the ponds down at that end, so we're addressing those. He will also look at the other pond signs that we already have, see if they're missing, and have those placed as well.
Jim, are those white square posts for the pond signs? Do you know? The black.
And we have some left over that Paul got out
Yeah,
of
he got he got it out of the pump house.
Because there were some white ones in there, and I think some of the signs behind my house are white, but that,
Yeah, I would think we would try to have them, especially the ones that are in residential areas that are landlocked, so they're not, in your face, but they're there so people.
I just said, when we were in the pump house last week, I saw there were some white posts in there, so I wasn't sure
Oh,
whether or
okay.
not they were,
Huh?
yeah.
Paul
Left
didn't
over.
take the white ones because
Okay.
he knew we weren't using them.
Okay, good. Yeah, I know, I had mentioned it,
Nobody throws anything away, that's the problem. They
as
just,
long as we
Find
have
someplace
someplace
to
to
stick
store,
it.
to hide it.
I have a question that it's the pond sign related.
Yes.
There was an incident where an alligator actually pulled out of a pond and went toward the big dog park. And we had talked about it at one of the safety and security meetings about posting a sign there that says beware of alligators. There's not one there.
There's no alligator warning signs on any of the ponds.
Yes, there
Any-
are. There's-
There are?
On the bridge.
Oh, okay, posted on the bridge.
That's not Feed Alley. It's really what it is.
Yeah. At one point, there was a number of signs around, whether people wanted souvenirs of visiting grandpa or whatever, but I haven't seen any alligator warning signs. I don't know if there's any reasons for us to not have it.
Because we can't cure stupid.
Well, I know, and
And how many would you have to have?
please don't walk your small dog down by the pond.
Yeah, 58, that's just one.
this,
Maybe more.
this came up in the safety and security, I think, because there was some lawsuit somewhere regarding, and I think a community association or somebody was found liable. But I don't know if we need the attorney to weigh in on,
So the
It's one of those
alligator
things
down
that-
by the beach tried to climb the fence to get into the big dog park.
but you could run
Try
into
to
a
climb
thing
the
where if you
fence.
put one up,
And if it's not on the one across the street, are you liable
are
because you
you
didn't
liable
warn me
because you
about that
didn't?
one?
Right.
Got
Or
up
if
out
it's
of
on
the
the
water.
other side
Now,
of
if
the
it's
pond.
on the other side, if it's behind my house, there,
Yeah,
like,
Let's
Martin
decide-
said,
let's
he says
decide
you-
whether
yeah.
we're going to do it or not.
I
mean,
I would
You know.
Ain't
like
gonna
to
do 100
to
signs.
But
hear
there's a
what the
lot of-
legal perspective would be on that.
Yeah.
Because putting up 58 signs is an expense that, if it's not going to cover us for anything other than, oh, look, we tried. It's not good
Put
enough
one
for me.
sign at the gate,
Yeah.
beware of alligators.
Alligators in the
FYI,
neighborhood.
Florida.
It's Florida, there's water, there's an alligator,
if there's
yeah.
anything bigger than a puddle.
Yeah.
Laura, can we make a request to get Tony's opinion
I got
on
it,
that?
I already took
So
a note.
Alligator
I think-
base.
Thank you. So we'll see what, if there's,
there's
what
value,
other
we can bring it up
communities, or if there's legal input into yes or no, so, okay. Next item down, item 3, we have a new vendor for the fountains at the entryway, which have not been functioning very well for a while. They have been out, and we will be pending a purchase order to get the lights put back on. We'll see how the electric works over there.
Right.
Probably the box of Cindy has.
That's right.
You know, but
Did
the
you
lights have
cut
been
those
out for a
wires,
while,
Cindy?
so they have a bid for their electrician to come out and also get the fountains working again.
It should say 6/1 though. It was June 1st.
Okay. Item 4, Extreme Divers is working on a quote to inspect the storm drain system in Pelican, working with them to identify what we're inspecting and what's not, what belongs to the golf course, what's commercial property, C5 and all the other stuff. So, but that's going to be, we're doing this so we can get that for our budget for next year. Item 5, so the Gateway pool standards, we just have we're trying to work with them to have it so we don't offer conflicting advice to Pelican homeowners as far as removing littorals. Gateway can submit to remove all the littorals behind their house. We don't have that option in Pelican, so I don't want to share that because then it just creates confusion that they'll think that they can, and I don't want them, wasting their time or getting a form notarized, submitted, and then denied.
We have actually had people request to have their littorals removed, and we always just defer them over to you guys. We're like,
Yeah, the only change is when it's on the flowway. The flowway, I quickly defer it back to them, and but again, I don't want them going through the effort if it's, if they're under a false impression that, this is what they can do.
Standards should be applicable to both, yeah.
Is this reflected in the pond standard that came before us a couple of weeks ago?
This is,
Yes, yeah, but as we said, this is a work in progress, so it'll be adjusted, and, we have to find a way to make all parties happy. And
Can they just add on the gateway?
They're a little
Well, it should-
hesitant to do that.
why even post it? If you say there is a practice for Gateway, it's this way, for Pelican Preserve, it's this way, but we don't really, I don't want them all. And as Bob mentioned, we're trying to have it where there's more littorals in the Gateway ponds, so.
yes, we're using you guys for an example, so.
Laura, because you gave that to Harold for the subcommittee for the revision document, did Harold
I got,
get Marty's?
I don't know if Harold got Marty's stuff.
Because you gave
I
comments.
have it, and I gave it to Matt, and if you met with Matt, then Matt would have it.
Yes.
So then,
Yeah, I
yeah, they
did
would have
see
seen
some-
it, yeah.
Some suggested revisions there too.
4 pages.
I forwarded his email to Matt.
Item 6, I had a few reports on the wood bridges and the boardwalks down by the town center, top rails coming loose, and a safety hazard on the boardwalk. Paul is working whatever is there that's a potential hazard is getting addressed right away. But some stuff, I commented that I felt it was not a good quality install if after 4 or 5 years, rails are starting to come up. So we will work with Paul, and we'll have to.
I can chime in on that a little bit if you don't mind. I talked to Mark about it this morning, actually. I double checked to make sure that it wasn't still under warranty because that boardwalk's it's 5 years old, not quite, but they only had a 3-year warranty on it. So I did look to see if we could get it covered under warranty. And he said what the problem is the posts, the support posts are treated lumber. And because they're at the point where the railings join, the water is getting down into the posts and they're rotting away, and they're running out of ways to secure the railings into the support posts. So they are currently soliciting quotes to have those repairs made. But we are taking care of the really bad ones as they come up, as best as we can with what we have to work with.
I was
So
going to say the support posts were not replaced when the new boardwalk was put in. They used the old support posts that went into the ground. They did
There's
not
still some-
replace.
The
them
pressure
with-
treated wood should not be splitting up and rotting.
But it
Even,
is,
even
yeah.
in,
It's just the
I think some of it was the number of
No, the
screws that have been
boardwalk
added in and on the ends
Yeah.
and then they get
Rich had
wrenched out and that starts creating, you know, and unless you use a 12-inch screw, you're not gonna hold it down. So we're working on that.
Yep.
Item 7 is ratification of Pond 21 bank restoration. So there was some questions on how we were going to proceed on that. It was contingent on the recommendation, you know, how it's being funded and how it's, if it has an impact on our homeowners or the golf course or the people who were putting in the money, whether it makes a difference if we do like we did last year we took a potential $300,000 loan against reserves. We didn't need it, but if it has an impact, you know, I could push it off for a year and save it, whatever is the easiest way to move forward.
The thing I was confused about was listening into the ponds meeting was, I thought the motion was to defer it,
Potentially.
potentially.
Yes, and that was like,
That
consider
was
it.
what I
It's
was-
consider it,
Was to
yeah.
consider. So we
Yep.
did not vote yay or nay. It was, you know,
The vote was to consider it.
Yeah, okay. So Laura,
Whatever's needed for the
you
budget.
indicated that you could do a variance.
I
calculation?
played with some, we'll get to that when we do the budget thing if you
Okay.
want, and then we can do that under the budget discussion if you'd
Okay.
like.
that's everything. Anybody have any questions on,
Do you have a
what are you
recommendation?
asking? I'm sorry?
Do you have a recommendation yourself?
You know, if it makes no difference, if it doesn't impact anybody, I would just assume do it next year. If it has an impact,
We've got some options.
we have some options.
Mhm.
Okay.
We have options.
And there's no requirement from, I mean, it's not like it's a safety problem that we
No,
have
this
to
is
be
not a
done.
safety issue. It's just, you know, we have a number of ponds and I'm impatient. You know, I try to,
Not the pond's not
because
impatient, the
more
people
will
are.
be coming where they need it. So I just don't want to be losing ground, you know, but, you know, if we do this bond, the following year I'm not. So I'm not gaining or losing anything. It's just that the people on Bellagio and Bella Vista would probably just assume have it done
Right.
next year because it affects, you know, their rear yards, if they were going to be doing any landscaping or if they had, you know, grass issues like I know Mark has on Bella Vista, you know, that's where the impact on the homeowners comes in.
No flashing lights.
Yeah, no flashing lights.
Extra flashing lights.
Extra.
Any other questions?
Any other
for
questions?
Jim?
No? Thank you.
Jim. All right, moving on to 8. 8 Alpha. Fiscal year 2027, our meeting dates. Still second Thursday of the month at 2 o'clock.
Correct.
Starting in October. We will, well, wait, when are we going to be at is it October that we'll be at the new building?
Hopefully we'll be in there in September, but I would assume for sure your October meet, well, I shouldn't say.
We anticipate.
For sure, hopefully, planning that this September or for sure the October meeting will be over at that building, yes. But this is next fiscal year, so that which starts in October.
Any questions for her?
Make a motion to accept the schedule as posted.
Second.
Right, any discussion? Marty and Doug were the motion maker and second. And, okay,
Aye.
all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, moving forward. We've got 8 Bravo, Landscape Subcommittee member. So we have Kathy Stites. Any discussion on this?
Make a motion to approve Kathy to the subcommittee as recommended.
Second it.
Marty made the motion, Patricia seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Communications review, Patricia?
Yeah, I wanted to bring up that Jay and I he's the Safety and Security Committee, Subcommittee,
Not ponds.
not cons. And I are working through an issue of what do we tell our neighbors about solicitors? And there's been some complaints to GSEDD. And what should we do about it? There was a amendment to post guard informational sheet that was proposed, but I don't think it's been accepted or voted on. And it was very detailed about that homeowners should report solicitors to the guard at the gate, and they should be recording it, and then there should be a record of it, and there should be something to do with perhaps limiting access to these vendors who continue to bug the neighbors by soliciting.
So
It's a big issue. We have public roads. We can't limit people coming in, but and the guards are given certain responsibilities, and we're not sure that they have been told that they should keep track of complaints.
guards identify and report.
Yeah.
That's it. Observe and
Observe.
report.
Yeah.
If you think it's a concern in the neighborhood, call Fort Myers Police.
That's what I have advised Jay for the message. to
Non-emergency line.
be, And he's saying that we should really provide more detail. So we're waiting to work out a compromise about checked over by the GSEDD.
Okay.
Um,
I can't envision that the guardhouse will be super responsive. If you've got one person there, they're not going to leave to go.
A lot of times too, they're doing contract work at a house in a neighborhood, and they go next door or doors down to try to get new business.
They're in the neighborhood legitimately. They've been checked at the gate.
The problem is, a lot of the residents think the gatehouse has more responsibility than it actually has, and it's a
So
long
my-
history.
Yeah,
But
my recommendation.
solicitors are required to have a permit. Even if they're doing work, they can't go next door and solicit work without a permit.
Correct.
And all the residents can do is ask if you have a permit, and if they don't, tell them to basically tell them to get off your property no matter what. But if they don't have a permit, then the only effect is to call the police.
Call the non-emergency number.
Okay, well,
It's.
So Dave Hamilton identified at the board meeting that a solicitor came to his house, and he identified that, hey, there's no soliciting in this neighborhood, please leave. And then he walked to his neighbor's house.
There's no, yeah,
there is a sign at the front gate.
Correct, but there's nothing in your covenants that says it's a no soliciting community, so that sign doesn't mean anything. Yes.
It is posted there. So anyway, we're working on that one. It's a.
Part of the problem is state and city laws and ordinances are newer than when our declarations and stuff were written, so there's.
Also,
They take
people
precedence.
think they live in a gated neighborhood.
Yeah.
Right. I keep telling them you don't live in a gated community, you live in a community with a gate. So,
So we'll continue to get that one done. The new roving vehicle, we're not going to do that one now until September.
Yep.
We're going to be using the
You
old
won't,
one.
you won't see it on your roads until October, so.
takes to the roads in October. Can we move up the high water mark budget one?
Yeah, I don't have dates on any of these.
Okay.
This is all in the works. So it all depends on
When do those notices go out?
What
send out the
notices?
letters.
The high water?
They haven't gone out.
When do they go
When,
out?
they won't go out until like mid-July usually. So we have a little bit of time.
Yeah,
I
I'd
definitely would like
it
to work
go
with
out
you on
very
that.
close to that.
Please work with me on that because that directly affects me. So,
We can't say call Laura.
well, everybody does. That's my job. I mean, but that's why I'm here. But I'm just saying I want to make sure that what we send is factual. So, not that you would intentionally not make it factual, but I just want to make sure because budget is contentious anyway. So I just want to make sure that whatever we send out is helpful.
Very good. Thank you again. All right, let's move along to 8 Delta. Right, Delta.
All right, fun stuff.
Basically, they have the bids, I guess, the bids came in significantly better than what Tetra Tech had. Where are you going?
Here, I wanted to get to the bids.
And Tetra Tech's, first estimate was it was going to be $1 million to do the resurfacing, but they came in significantly lower. But the pricing includes mill and grind from tree line to the four-way stop.
The big corner.
Four-way stop at golf course, the only four-way stop we've got.
Does it pass through the four-way stop?
No,
or is it
to the four-way
before
stop.
The four-way stop.
Two-way, to the pavers at the four-way stop. Four-way stop is pavers, it stops before at the pavers. It then includes implementing the bike lane on all the boulevards, Pelican Boulevard, Cypress Grove, and Prado, and striping the rest of the roadway and neighborhoods. In the neighborhoods, it's basically stop bars, golf cart crossings, and pedestrian crossings. But those will all be restriped. So it was
And
basically
say again, the bike lanes will be on just the boulevards.
just the boulevards. Pelican Boulevard to the bridge, Cypress Grove, and then Prado to the roundabout at Prado. The 4-lane, basically all the 4-lane boulevards.
And that circle at Prado is being
Realigned, right. That's all part of it. So they were recommending, what, southern striping for
Correct.
394.
With the contingency that we
Paul has asked
received.
that we
Yes.
add a contingency of probably $10,000 or $15,000 because that the bid included 100 feet of curb and gutter fixing on Pelican Boulevard. And if it ends up, they're going to go back out if it ends up that they need a little bit more or something, that they don't have to come back with a change order to come back and go through the whole approval process.
And there's a contingency that we have to receive this anti-human trafficking affidavit from them. I'm checking, Randy hasn't responded. Last I had heard, as of yesterday, we have not received that yet. So Safety and Security actually had that as their recommendation with the backup that if for some reason we can't work it out, that we go with preferred materials, which is the second highest here.
Before, Ed, with some of the work we've done with the roads, any of these contractors, have we used them?
I don't know that we've used
We've
others.
done Ajax and Boness. I think pavement maintenance we might have, but the other ones I'm not familiar with.
I'm not sure. Tetra Tech basically did reference checks on all of them and
They did.
all came back.
Yep. Everybody
So,
came back. The
good,
only
so.
thing that had a minus on it was that one paper missing from Southern Striping. Everything else checked out on
I've got an
everybody.
issue.
So
Why is Tetra Tech, our technical expert here in this, why were they so off? Isn't that a concern?
well,
Shouldn't we ask for an explanation why they were so off on their estimate?
The first estimate that was basically 900 and some $1,000, they were using the county's standard.
Okay, so we learn by our mistakes. What are they going to do differently? And shouldn't we ask for them to be accountable on what they are going to do differently?
Well, they revised it with some others, and I don't know what the revised estimate was before it went out. I don't remember, but it was something still like
I think we need an
600,000,
explanation
so.
from Tetra Tech, why they were so off and what they're going to do differently.
I like them being on.
If
Yeah, we have the opposite problem. They always underestimate our stuff and then the bids come in and we're like, oh.
Yeah.
So,
Is it something you can have a conversation?
We can ask, yeah,
just
I
ask
can bring
for
back
clarity
something.
on what
There
would,
was several bids that came in a lot higher. It was,
well, the highest one was 655.
Yeah,
And that
here.
was high by 150,000. So,
Their estimate was 900.
yeah, so it's significantly, I mean, it's worth getting a little clarity on it.
But
They were contractors. Hold their feet to the fire.
I would like to make a motion that we accept the safety and security recommendation and go with the southern striping. If they, with the contingency that if they don't, we would go to the next highest bidder, but not to exceed 410,000. That will give us some contingency for
40
possible
seconds.
change orders, so.
All right, we have a motion by Ed, second by Marty. Any more discussion on it?
The financial impact, the bids came in so much better. I mean, a couple months ago, we approved that that safety and security, we would let them use 200,000 of ours if we needed to for the striping. We won't need to use that. Looking at the budgets where they are, the current budget, basically, safety and security will be borrowing 100,000 from capital reserves and paying that back next year, just like Ponds was going to do. There's a probability that they won't even have to do that they will just be able to use their 290-some thousand carry forward to cover all of this project and some of their other things. So it's probably.
But we'll still keep it as a reserve for
Until-
now.
The
Right.
offer stands,
What was the number you said for not to exceed? Did you say?
400.
410?
410, yeah, I wrote 410.
That's why I heard that, but
the bike lanes, that is striping it, decaling, putting the decals down that this is a true bike lane. Is there signage?
Signs.
Okay,
Yep.
that's into this bid, the signs. Okay,
So
No
you
golf.
will
It's
want to have
everything.
I will.
Yeah,
No golf carts. It's a bike lane.
Yep.
It's no golf carts, no cars, no pedestrians.
One thing that came up in project, there's been some changes to the state and federal signing rules. And so part of it is the share the road signs are basically no longer valid. So effectively they need to come out. There's issues with other signage that we have in different places. Probably the most notable are the roundabouts. Each roundabout has different signage and doesn't conform to the current standard. So one of the projects that Safety and Security's got Paul looking on is what would it take to basically bring all the road signs up to the current standards? So
What if we just wait until we do maintenance or construction and then update it at that time instead of going out and trying to fix them all now?
the bike lane is basically forcing some of that anyway. Implementing that, then the whole,
yeah, and
especially
we'll
on
need that
those boulevards,
signage.
needs
It's
to be
still part
brought
of the
out, so.
project, yeah. All right, did that answer your question well enough, or?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we
both
have a
did.
motion and we have a second. Barring any more discussion, let's call the vote. All in favor?
I
Aye.
Aye.
No opposed, so that passes.
surprise you on that.
So the next step is to get it approved at the board level, or is this
Yes.
enough for us?
No, it has to go to the
It has to go to
board.
the
Yeah,
board.
because it's a contract and it's large.
yeah.
So it's way over my spending limit. so,
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I could do it, but I don't want to get in trouble. So this actually was put on here by me. First, I want to give kudos to the landscape subcommittee for getting this ball rolling unintentionally. They submitted this as an agenda item for their meeting last month, and we did not put it on their agenda. I pulled it after I talked to Chelsea, and she's like, this is really great. We should do this for all the subcommittees.
Oh, okay.
So instead of implementing them one at a time, I wanted to bring it to you because it should come from PPAC because they're your subcommittees. to develop these for each of the subcommittees, because when we did the resolution, which is attached here, it doesn't really lay out specifics. It gives a very high level expectation of basically why they were formed, and not so much like what their individual specific duties are. So I thought what they laid out was good. It needs a little massaging, but I mean, kudos to them. I was very impressed by the fact that they put that whole thing together. Chelsea's like, holy cow, this is like a job description for the chair and the members of the
Yeah,
subcommittee.
That
So
was Susan Atkinson did.
yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
It was great. So I want to bring this to you. And then if this is something that we talked about, and I think that we should work on, well, you, PPAC, should work on. I will be note taker. And then we should develop this for all of the subcommittees, and we can just, it'll take some time to work through it. So I think we plan to roll it out no later than like the start of the fiscal, when we do all the voting for chair and vice chair. And that way you can say, well, here's your role. These are our expectations. If we get it done sooner, that's great. But I would say that gives us July, August, and September to discuss it. And then we can roll it out in October.
So then what I would say is we need to look to our subcommittees because they know what they need to do. Ponds does have a lot of this in our old operations manual. I'm sure it needs to be updated, because I think the last time I touched that one was 5 years ago. Yeah, well,
Guidelines or something, what they're looking to do.
Yeah, we can take this and make it kind of like more generic and then have them tweak it.
so then what I would say is each of the liaisons for our subcommittees, please go back to your subcommittee.
I would assume this is good for landscape because it came from them. So
Yeah,
we just have
I think
ponds and then
landscape would be fine.
ponds
but the
and,
ponds and safety
and safety and security. Yeah.
Do you want to take a crack at anything for the PPAC representation? I mean, it's an
Well,
informal
I think yours is,
PPCA,
oh,
because you're the liaison for that.
Basically, the liaison.
Yeah.
We didn't establish this as a formal.
There was,
So,
yeah.
and I don't know that was ever
Okay, so
agreed to. So I
you're
don't know
you're
if-
fine with just liaison and
Yeah, I think
let
that's
that be?
fine.
Okay.
It might be good to have what's PPAC responsible for.
I think yours was more formal in here than what it was for the subcommittees. So,
Ours was a little bit.
but yours is
longer.
basically what we have for the board, and we made that for PPAC because you're a formal committee. Where there with the subcommittees, it wasn't quite as defined.
Okay, all right. Is there any interest in reviewing that to make sure that it's still good?
I find it to be,
The PPAC?
PPAC.
For the
job
PPAC.
assignment, they-
I find it to be busy work.
Busy work? Okay. Okay. If anyone has interest in doing a review on that, let Laura know. I personally tend to agree that we do what's in front of us, and that's pretty much it, yeah. Okay,
Do we need a motion on this at all?
No, it was just discussion.
yeah.
Discussion?
Yep.
Okay.
I think they all need to be reviewed simultaneously because of overlap.
Yeah, I would like to just roll it all out at once and just have it be like, okay, here, the overarching is going to be the same for each. And then obviously because they have different responsibilities, some of that would be more specific by subcommittee, but there's general expectations for them.
I'd like to give kudos to Susan Atkinson.
That's what yeah, definitely. Yep.
And it all came because of the tree trimming issue. Whose responsibility is it for these two subcommittees who have interest in shape and size and quality of our trees? Who's responsible? So she said, okay, let's make it clearer by putting these things together. I thought.
Yep. No, it was great. Yeah.
She's very skilled at that sort of thing.
Subcommittee was not happy with PPAC.
They were not. Yep, landscaping voiced very strongly that they were not happy with the oversight that was put in place, and as well as the action that was taken. So we've had discussions, Mark and I, so. And Susan. All right, let's move along. Budget, oh boy.
All right. This is hot off the press. This is the budget that was actually approved last week at the Board of Supervisors meeting. So this,
the one that was
this is the
attached, or no?
official, yep,
Okay.
this is
High
the,
water.
this is the official high water mark.
Okay.
So you can't do anything about that, can't do anything about that, can't do anything about that. This is where your stuff starts.
Okay. So are there any changes that we need to make, given the roads and/or the potential
Well, I
ponds?
have some suggestions that I want to bring up for discussion.
This
If I
is-
could, if I,
wait a minute,
if
This
I,
is what's going to be published, right?
it already is published.
Okay, so, and then really it's till what?
We were talking about,
September?
No.
When is the?
no, it's August. So you
August,
have, you'll
okay.
have this meeting, you'll have your July meeting, and you'll have your August meeting
Okay.
to discuss. So we have two more. So I have some, you don't necessarily have to make decisions today, but based on conversations that came up during the board meeting and conversations, especially about ponds. The other ones, not so much with their budgets, but there's, those are new items. It's, most of it is down in this area here. So I made an assumption, because this was like $600,000 before the board made all their changes and axed all of the projects out of there for next year. I made an assumption that you would either take out a loan for this $149,000 or use reserves for it. So that has no impact on your budget for this year because it is completely offset right here. And I did put that in, so.
It doesn't have an impact on the assessment.
It doesn't have an impact on the assessment, correct. So they cancel each other out. So the Parks and Rec thing is a moot point as far as the projects.
But it is clear that it's $150,000.
Yes,
that's gonna
I
impact
just,
our
I
budget.
put down here, I just put other financing sources. So that's something that you are going to need to determine, like how you want to fund that. Do you want to use carry forward? Do you want to use your do you want to use reserves? Do you want to do a bank loan? That doesn't necessarily need to be decided right now, but we'll,
Question,
yep.
that 150,000, that's our share of what the Parks and Rec capital is?
That's the stuff the Gateway's gonna be, we're going to use bonds to pay for our share of it, and this is your share.
Why wouldn't,
You cannot take out any more bonds. You would have to get a whole new, you guys are out of bond money. So we can't do that. You use it all for the admin building and the weirs. When we issued the bonds, we only took out enough to cover those projects. So,
we're out of bond money?
yeah, you have no money left for new projects in your bonds.
Yeah, I'm retired.
No, we retired an older bond, but we still have the 2023 that we're responsible for paying back. We just don't have any funds that are available from that.
When we did the validation, the Pelican portion of it, we only validated enough for Pelican to do the weir project and the admin building.
Well, why are we being assessed, this is capital,
This is
right?
capital.
Why are we being assessed part of the capital? Because
Because you're responsible for paying your 0.15%.
that
It's being done under the O and M
that-
assessment.
last study that we did was for O and M.
Correct. That's what this is falling under.
This is capital.
It-
You're saying this is for capital work.
Correct, which is also part of operations expenses. It's not bond funding. So we ran all through this with Tony and the bond council and everybody else. So this is technically it's only 7% of the total project when I looked at it overall, using the tables that we do for the O and M.
So Laura, now that Pelican Preserve has a dog in the hunt with Parks and Recreation, I've requested that Parks and Recreation come in and give a presentation to us.
You have.
They've yet to do so.
Understood. And I said that I was told Parks and Rec will not be coming to give you a presentation because they don't report to you, they report to the board. So you'll have to read the minutes from their meetings or come to a board meeting when they give a presentation.
Or we could
So-
come to the board meeting and ask them to grant us a presentation.
You could, yep. But that was why, because PrAC doesn't report to you, they report to the board. That was what I was told. So I did make the request, and that was my
Go to
answer.
the board and request it. Laura can't do it. the
So,
board
so now that we have a dog in the hunt here, we don't know what their priorities are.
You do
as-
if you follow they gave a report. There's actually a report in the board meeting packet for next Thursday from PrAC with what they're planning to do with the money. So they do report, they just report it to the board. So you'd have to look in the board packets. You can always go to a PPAC meeting or you can watch it online on YouTube. They're all recorded.
And we used to have a PPAC or a Pelican member on boards and rec, but they
He
moved.
moved. Yeah, it was Joe.
Joe.
Goes off.
Yep, he moved. So he's not in Pelican anymore, so he had to resign.
Went to a continuing care because Sue's eyes were getting really bad. Yeah. Anyway, so we could actually look at making sure that we have somebody on that committee that's a Pelican person that we could ask for updates from. That's true. But anyway, is there any openings now that Joe?
I don't think there is. No, I think Joe's spot's been filled, but I'm pretty sure
Was
we
it
don't have any.
presented as a?
Oh, it was, yeah, we post them all. Everything gets posted. Whether or not it actually got dispersed in your community, I don't know, but we send it out. So we do send them out.
Yeah, okay.
So what I wanted to talk about, especially in light of the ponds discussion, is this is this highlighted in yellow. That's the $650,000 for the ponds for next year. So there are some options. Option one is what they talked about, potentially just deferring it and only putting like 300 or 350,000 in on this line next year and not doing anything, and then sticking.
Not spending
Actually,
it.
this would be zero, and then this down here, this capital projects reserve would the money would shift to that, and it would just go in the pot, and it would sit there until the next year. Ponds should be well under budget this year due to the fact that the pond that they plan to do this year came in at half of what they were expecting it to be.
But they were
So-
going to borrow half of that from capital reserves.
But they haven't.
Right.
So, but what I'm
that's
saying is
basically a
that at
wash.
the end of the year, they're where their budget's at, they're on trend to have right around that 300,000 in carry forward. So that would be an option.
That's if we actually borrow the money from if they borrow
No.
the money from capital reserves.
But
Yeah.
nope. Right here, they right now, they have $429,000 left in their budget for this year. And I haven't paid out the rest of the funds, so they are going to have a very large carry forward. So we'll have a discussion
But their
offline.
budget was based on them borrowing 300,000 from capital reserves to give them that 400,000. So they're borrowing 300 to have 400 or 300 to have the carryover. So if they don't borrow from capital reserves, they won't have that much carry forward.
Don't do a pond at all. They're gonna have a
I'm not talking about
future.
next
He's
year. I'm
talking
talking
about
about
this
this
year.
year.
Correct, but their budget,
This year,
their
assume they were borrowing money, 300,000 from capital reserves to fund.
to offset.
To offset
the
that
cost
so that the assessment didn't
would be
go up and they were
less.
going to pay it back this year or next year. But because the budgets, the prods came in half, they won't have to borrow that 300,000, but that reduces the amount of carry forward from their,
So 300,000 should be taken off of the 429.
right.
Potentially, we'll see where they end up,
Yeah.
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 So
That-
that's
some of
an
these budget
option. 'Cause
adjustments
you
that
can
have to
do,
occur before the end of the
And
year.
that's part of the reason why, in my mind, deferring a pond is a good move, because then you have the money up front before you actually do it. So that would be my opinion.
Where does this budget where are our assessments set, projected assessment increases?
It's the next, it's the second document.
here on your screen.
3% increase?
Yeah, Carol,
That's what this is.
Carol requested that I tweak it went in the admin category, so like basically an unassigned reserve, deposit, like an amount to put into the unassigned reserves, to get it to 3%, because it was lower, so that actually raised it up.
Say that again?
It was requested by the board to put, because each of the subcommittees has their own capital reserve line.
Correct.
There's also like basically an unassigned, just general capital reserves. I was requested by the board to put something on that line to get the assessments up to 3%, because they were actually lower. They had gone down. So there's like a $60,000 on there. It's right here at the bottom. Right,
Page one, bottom page one.
Page 1, you said?
Last page.
It's on the page 1.
60,000 to bring it up.
Yeah,
Well,
because they wanted it to be at 3% for an increase. It's,
Why?
that was the request of the board. So
Carol, can I ask you to come up and explain what the rationale for that would have been? Thank you. Oh, I know, but I just, what was the thought?
well, and they can raise it back up because they, they have the final say.
Carol Hancock.
It's right here.
The initial, the very first draft that we saw, without capital being put into it, showed that Pelican single-family home was going to have like a 2%
Like
decrease.
2.7.
reduction, a minus 2%. And so I called Laura and I said, I've done a substantial amount of budgeting over the years, and it always seems to me that a small increase every year is the best way to budget overall. So if you can get somewhere around inflation or a small increase, people accept that. If you have a decrease, a lot of times they think, well, we had a decrease last year, why couldn't you have decreased it the year before or the year before that? If you have
$60,000 made the difference between a negative?
no, there was other things.
Okay.
Okay, so then the second, then we had a board meeting and it was discussed what capital projects were going to go in.
Okay.
And during that project, the board could not decide. So they said, okay, everything that would be under the new bond, put all the capital projects in there. So that's what Laura did in the second rendition of this. And the single-family home in Pelican came up to like a 6-point-some-odd% increase when you added all the capital in. So I called Laura and I asked Laura, what would we have to put in to have about a 3% increase, which in my mind is kind of where I would like to see those taxes be this year, my personal opinion. And so she added 150,000 to the reserves.
All the way around. It was 150,000 is where it started. And after all the capital projects were put in, I had to lower it to 60.
Right, right. Because out of all the capital projects, basically the board decided there was basically a list of about $11 million in capital projects. A good 5 to 6 million of that we took out. And so the rest is in there. The two biggest projects being new lights over at the soccer field and
Irrigation.
irrigation.
Not for the soccer field, in Gateway, not.
Irrigation in Gateway. But we pay a part of that.
Right, right.
So anyway, so then at the towards the end of the meeting, I said, okay, Laura, what's it going to take? What do we have to change in that 150,000 to make it a 3% increase? And so we changed it to 60,000 and that got to a 3.2% increase. So that became the high water mark for a single family home.
Thank you for the education on
It
that.
also had a change for the golf course also, the Pelican Preserve Golf Course. They went up and now they're still up, but it's less
And that's,
than what it was before.
that's strictly related to the ponds. As
And
soon
that's
as,
related to the
as
pond.
soon as we change that number, it goes down.
Yeah,
So.
and, okay.
In other words, if you defer that pond 21 for another year, that golf course money will come down.
Laura?
Yeah.
My understanding of that, the 78, I'll just round it, 78 was for the high water mark.
Correct.
And when you take into account that the budget the 300K from reserves, if we did it as currently planned, we haven't voted yet, that 78K became 19.
You didn't take those 650 out completely and put
That
300,000 into
became 9.
reserves.
If
Yeah.
you took it all out, it became 9, and if you took out only the stuff from the reserve, if you took only the stuff from the reserves, it was 19.
Right. If you decided to offset 300,000 of it with reserves,
19.
and then if instead of 78, and then if you get rid of the 650 completely and put 300,000 into reserves, it takes it down to 9% increase for them.
9,000.
Yeah.
9,000. So, but then that would have to play with the reserves, which would change that again if we want to get to the 3%. I just strictly
So-
looked at the,
Will it impact the single family or multifamily?
yes, not as extreme as the golf course, but yes.
Basically, on almost all the subcategories, the allocation between single-family and multifamily is the same. Admin, it's the same. Ponds, it's different. There's a different allocation to single-family versus
Because of the
multifamily for the ponds.
impermeable and
'Cause
all
of the
that.
Pervious
permeable
area and all that, yeah. And
So-
Let's not bring that up
frontage and,
again.
So that's where it's hard to tell just what the effect is going to be. You take it out of any other budget, and it should have a uniform effect on them. But to me, one of the things that I would like to see is if we say, take the 600,000 for the pond, I'm talking round number, and say we're not going to do it this year, but we're going to fund 300 of it in '27. That's a significant reduction in the ponds. So to me, the difference increase between single family and that will come down, and multifamily, it'll be closer to the same. But I would, that reduces things, but rather than reduce it that much, you're going to go negative. To Carol's point, you're going to have, if you take 300,000 out,
minus
you're going to go negative.
6.6% to be exact,
But-
so.
But then
If we take
if
out
you
the
don't,
bond?
And don't increase the capital.
One at a time. Come on.
She asked,
then
I'm
if
telling
you
her.
don't fund the 149,000 out of our reserves, you keep that in the budget, that reduces that impact somewhat. So we might get closer to basically a no increase. Maybe, I don't know what those numbers are.
Can I ask a question? Okay, so the high water mark last year was an increase of 12 to 15%. And then we got it down because of the things that we did, blah, blah, to 3%. So you're talking now about putting out a high water mark as a 3% and not going through the machinations of saying we're doing this to reduce that number. We're going to reduce the number now and get it to a 3% increase. Is that for the high water mark? Is that what we're doing?
This budget has been published, approved by the board. That's a high water mark budget. It says it's 3%. Now we're saying if we make adjustments, that might come down.
Okay. Current inflation rate is 4.7% annual and is probably going to go up. So people are going to be seeing all sorts of numbers going up in their budgets. It'd be nice if we didn't have to do that.
Well, I would like to recommend that you guys bring up, and I'm looking at Jim Latham when I say this, that the Ponds Group bring it back up and discuss it at your next meeting, which will be in,
2 months.
Too late, I think,
is it too late?
because you got to have it locked in August, correct?
August 20th is the public hearing.
Well, they voted to consider it.
They only considered it. They didn't vote.
Yeah.
We
wasn't
went
what I-
back and listened. It was considered. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
considered. You tried, but you didn't. So, yeah.
What he said.
No, I didn't. Listen, no, when the motion was made, it was to consider deferring pond 21 to 28.
And then I was brought up.
And that was what was
we
voted on.
re-motioned
That was what it was
to
voted
do it.
on. So,
So what would be the course of action then, Laura, if we wanted to weigh in on the reconsideration if their timing is not going to work?
it ultimately, I mean, the recommendation comes from ponds to you and then from you to the board. So if you would like to, because they aren't meeting until August, I mean, it is completely within your purview to make the adjustments yourself. And then the board would also look at that and weigh in on the impact of it, so.
I mean, you can make some adjustments, you can run those numbers and basically
I
see.
can, but if you take the 149,000 out of there, I can't give you the number today because there's a bunch of
not
stuff in the
today, but
background.
for-
If I can tell you what the impact is without touching that 149,000, but yeah.
What is it?
6.6%.
If we take out ponds?
If you take out the 650 and raise your capital projects reserve for ponds to 370 from the 70 that it's at right now. So put another 300 into ponds. So if I take this number, make it be 0, and if I add the 300,000 here, you go from a 3.2% increase for the single family down to a minus
And if you
6.6.
add the 150 back in, it would bring it back up.
Yeah, but that one's a little more complicated because this one's just really simple. I can just change it and it'll
But it
calculate,
won't
but
be
the other one is a little
It won't
harder.
be a minus 6%, it'll be something.
I would imagine
less
it would
than
be
that.
probably in between there because you're putting half of it back in again, so
So if you're +3, -6, you're maybe
probably 2, minus 2.
Laura, if we do that, okay, in 2027, and get rid of 650 and put 300 more into capital project reserves. Okay, the budget would be, what would it be here? 350 less than this, 917?
Yeah.
I think it'd be 917.
Yep.
Okay, and then next year, in 2028, when we do the pond,
Yep.
it'd be
It's-
17.
no,
Well, it'd be,
plus it's going to be the 1267. So we're going to
But
go from
down at the bottom,
917.
it'll offset
What I'm
it,
saying
yeah.
is, next year, it's going to look like the pond's budget in 2028
Jumped.
jumps significantly, that right now, it doesn't look like it jumped at all in 2027. I know that's just
It's
numbers on a
semantics.
piece of paper.
Yeah.
It is
But I mean,
optics.
people look at that.
Yeah. And we can put whatever we want into reserves.
Correct.
So we could do $450,000
Yep.
and,
I got you. Yes, you could.
make it balance a little bit more, so,
That's a good idea.
yeah.
That's a good
since you
idea.
spent your reserves. yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
waiting for your recommendation, so.
Can you tell me what it would be if we put
Sure.
470,000 in reserve?
So 470. Whoops.
Leave 250 in ponds.
Well, I'm just saying, take.
So take the 650
Take
out.
650 out of there
And
and
then-
put another 400 into
It's
reserves.
minus,
Not for pond and not for that year.
Not for bank improvement.
Correct.
it'll take it to minus 3.8. So it adds about 3%. So
And if you add that 150,
that would adjust, it.
yeah,
You'll get
that would
close
get
to
you
0.
closer to 0.
Yeah.
that would get you closer. I mean, that'd be the thing maybe for the next meeting, it would be to, if
Can you do some
if you
scenarios?
took
Wait,
that,
why don't you tell me what you want me to plug in there? Because I'm happy to do whatever you ask. I just need to know what you want.
500,000,
Okay.
put 400,000
take out the
and
And
paving
the pond
the
out.
parks
The
out.
650 goes.
and take the 150 out of the capital and readjust that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So 500,000, so it would be a total of 570 because there's 70,000 in there now. So I'm getting rid of the highlighted yellow.
Okay.
The ponds are going to go to 0, correct? And then you want me to try it with 570 and then 470 in the capital projects reserve? And then get rid of the Parks and Rec use of funding. Okay.
The only thing I would point out, with kind of going along with what Tricia said, these 27 budget figures are very close to 26. Don't indicate much inflation at all. I realize this has been passed. I'm a little concerned about that we have not taken into consideration. It doesn't appear that inflation has been taken into consideration without inflation factor put on.
But we are not fixed. That's the one thing, is we vary so much with what budgets or what things we've got. We don't just have contracts that we can put an inflation
Right.
marker on.
And one thing, landscape and safety and security are running typically run under budget. So we've been, but the one thing that you don't see just looking at these numbers, that 26, 1.1 million, that was actually $800,000. Because down below, we were borrowing 300 from capital reserves to offset that. It just shows up at a different place in the budget. But that, from an appearance, it looks like it's about the same, but impact on assessment, we were offsetting that with a loan from capital reserves.
So the actual budgets itself didn't change, you're just lessening the impact of the assessment by using reserves to offset it. But I completely agree, the budgets have been the same pretty much every year since I started here. Whether or not they should be, I don't know, so I understand where you're coming from. Everybody's so determined that it has to stay flat, and I,
Basing budgets on budgets, not on actuals.
Well, we're
correct.
basing budgets on what are the requirements that each of the subcommittees are telling us they need to do.
And the subcommittees are being told that they need to hold their budgets flat every year,
But
so.
also a lot of our, I would speak
Not by us.
for ponds, a lot of these contracts are multi-year contracts with rates in there that are less than inflation type thing. We don't have that much, do we, Jim, that you would consider it or not? If you take all of our contracts that are annual contracts, our budget is pretty small if you take them out.
We've been trying with the contracts that we've done lately is to hold them to the same pricing for the first 3
Yeah.
and then not have increases until years 4 and 5.
Right.
So
And we're in year 1.
for some of your stuff, yeah.
Lots
Most
the
of
big
yours,
ones
yeah,
are-
your stuff just went back out, yes.
So
So that's to answer your question, Tom, that's why, so,
Budget-wise, high water, we're 3.2.
yes. Well, the budget that is in your PPAC agenda packet is the high water budget.
That's done.
That is done.
Right, that's
that is
3
what will go out.
I'm not looking at the 3.2, was that what it was?
Yep.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to get a
Oh, it's
letter
two
to
different
that
numbers.
effect.
Multifamily goes down.
2.6.
Yeah, why did they go down so much? Because of the ponds?
Yeah,
Okay.
water, because the allocation and that.
Most of it shifted to the commercial and the golf course, yeah.
So let's all cogitate, think about what our priorities are. I mean, personally, my priorities are to fund the subcommittees to the level that they need to get the work done, but without padding it so that we are artificially inflating what
Right.
impact we have to our
You
residents.
sound like me, I say that every year.
Yeah, but padding
It never happens.
Never
but
happened.
Nope,
padding
never
it up to
happens.
protect the committee.
Well, making sure that they're being realistic, yeah.
Part of mine is I don't want to start using the reserves to pay the parks and recreation. That impact needs to hit the budget.
I guess my feel for the budget is if, I know that a lot of the lines, especially in landscape, have historically been extremely inflated. I mean, they consistently carry over $200,000, which I don't understand why. Well, that's because you never changed the budget, but.
No, it's because when we first took over and they were a new subcommittee, we reallocated like $250,000.
No, you want to know where that money came from? It's because we used the budget from Castle and they used to put their fees for their admin services in the landscape budget. That's where they took their money from.
Where that came
When I did an audit, that's what I found. So that's
Okay.
why the landscape budget was so padded when we inherited it.
Got it, okay.
They never changed it. But I mean, my suggestion would be to budget the line items at the levels that you need them to be for what you need to do. And then if you want to set some aside to do future projects, then you put it on your capital line. Don't put it on the individual line items. I mean, but again, I do what you ask and that's where I put it. And, but that would just be my suggestion. And every year I say it and nothing changes. So for what it's worth, I've said it again this year,
You're
so.
saying it again.
In 27, can you help me when, looking between 27 and 28 for the ponds group? So we can see what that increase will be when we do the pond, this 50 or 600, whatever number you want to use. 650 is what's in 27 budget. If we move that to 28, even though we're paying for out of the ponds capital, if we banked it,
Yep.
the delta.
It will go
What-
up the
what-
difference between whatever you set aside in your reserves for this, for 27 and the $650, 650,000.
It would
So if you
go
put
up by
500 aside, it will go up 150. If you put 400 aside, it'll go up 250.
But the budget would have the 650.
Yes.
The assessment would be the smaller
But your
150.
total, I'm looking at bottom line,
Yeah,
because
I-
you wouldn't put the money in the
I'm just
capital
looking at
reserve
when I
then.
Look at this report in between 27 and 28, it's going to look like the ponds group budget increased by 30% because of doing this thing. I just want to understand what that number will be.
Sure. And I don't know until you decide what you want to put in the capital part.
Would anyone have a different scenario that they would want her to come back
And
with?
even if you don't have an answer today, as long as you can let me know no later than a week before your next meeting, I can run I can do the different scenarios. I mean, because I know sometimes you kind of think and then you're like, oh, I wish I would have. Just email me. I mean, the sheet I have is pretty live, so I can do them on the fly for the most part, with the exception of the Parks and Rec thing. That one's a little trickier, but yeah.
So clarification, vote on, we've already accepted this,
Yes,
right?
and the board has accepted.
Well, the
it.
board did, yeah. The board accepted it.
And so these new scenarios are things we can look at the next meeting. And then
Next
we
two,
decide
actually.
if we're going to
Right,
accept any
right,
of those.
right.
And then it goes to the board for their approval.
Yep, what'll happen is this is the high water mark. This is set. You can make changes to this budget, but you can't increase anything. The bottom line can't increase. That's why they call it high water. You can't go above. So if you're moving things around and changing lines, as long as the bottom line doesn't change, it can go down. It just can't go up. So. So you have today to discuss it, you'll have your July meeting and your August meeting to have discussions, and then you make that recommendation to the board. I'll take all of your feedback, I'll put that all into the budget, and then that's the version that will go to the board for them to adopt or make changes to at their meeting and at the public
August?
hearing in August, yeah. It's the 20th, I think it is, the second, it's the third, yeah, I think it's the 20th is the public hearing. So that's when it's done, so.
Laura, can you go up to the operations?
Where? Just operations, this?
Right there. The utility or you moved to utility irrigation, electric for the signs. Can that move down to landscaping too, since they have responsibility for the signs?
I can't move it anymore. Now it'd have to come off something else. Because you're increasing their
change the
budget by
land.
$3,000.
Okay. So I have to wait till
So-
next year to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ask Jim a question. Jim, what do you think? You have to have an opinion.
Come up to the podium to answer.
Because, I mean, if we're going to be voting on something that does impact you, I'd be curious as what you feel.
Hi, Jim Latham. Well, as I said before, I would like to do this Pond 21 next year. It doesn't have to be done. If I do it next year, there's no work being done the following year. So it's do no work next year and do it the following year, or next year and nothing the following year. You know, for the $600, I have $300,000 years to work with. Next year would be borrowing it from Peter to pay Paul next year. The following year, I'd be paying it back. You know, there's no criticality saying, well, if we don't, there's risk. There isn't any risk.
And you can look at all these numbers that Laura's going to be running, because they're going to
Yeah,
be.
you can step in, we can just play with them.
Yeah, and so you can so you understand.
Or if you want to
You
Teams,
know,
I can do that.
I don't, you know, I understand for what I need to know, you know, the bigger items, you know, it's the impact on the homeowners and the golf course. You know, if there's a means of doing it, minimizing that or minimizing pain for anybody, I'm all for it. You know, like I said, it's, you know, in a perfect world, I'll have 600,000. Next year, I'll have six. I'll keep doing ponds until the cows come home. The real world, you know, we have you know, we have to answer to the homeowners and, you know, be responsible for what we're, you know, live within our means. You know, if we can live within our means and do it next year, good. If it's the following year, that's fine.
All right, well, think then about, thank you, Jim. Think about what your priorities are, what scenarios you might want to see to have Laura run for us, and let's bring this back up again next month and see if we can reach consensus. So,
At the meeting next month, it's just, say, tweak that a little, it's just an adjustment in that spree.
Mhm. The biggest change for me will be, once I get that Parks and Rec 149,000 sorted out, to do the rest on the fly will be, anything that I change in this top part, the subcommittees, those I can do on the fly. It's when I get down into the use of funds and those things where there's a lot more back end stuff that gets involved with that, but any of the stuff in here, I can plug it in, tell you this is the impact. I can change that, this is the impact. So, all
everybody comfortable with that?
Yep.
right, so just so that I make sure that I have this. So for next month, I have 3 things that are, well, 4 technically lines. I'm going to take the 650 out completely. We're on one scenario with 500,000, adding 500,000 to the ponds reserve, and then one with adding 400,000 to the ponds reserve. And either way, I'm taking the 149,000 reserve thing out for Parks and Rec, and you're just going to assess that. So, okay. And then anything else that you think of that you'd like me to try, let me know. Just shoot me an email and I can do it.
Compare 27 and 28. The budget.
It was the
27.
The total
same.
budget?
Yeah, with both scenarios, so that we can, I just want to see what that increase is in 28.
Okay.
Okay. All right, let's move along to staff update then. Laura, you have everything you need on that?
I do.
Okay.
Yep, that's why I clarified to make sure that that was
Okay.
everything that you asked me for. I pretty much injected my staff update into the meeting already, so
There you go, girl.
I'm good.
Okay. Member items, let's start. Doug, do you have anything?
We talked about it already.
Ed?
Nope.
Nothing?
Nope.
Marty?
Marty's smiling.
Marty's
I
smiling.
I have something, but I don't know if Marty wants to go first.
I will not be in attendance for
I know that.
July 9th meeting.
You jumped ahead. That was my next question when you were done.
Will you be sure to voice your opinion to Laura so that she can represent?
I can do that.
I'd be happy to hear that. I will do that. I will speak on your behalf.
No one can represent
Nobody
Marty.
can actually represent Marty, but try.
I can speak on his behalf,
Thank you.
yes.
I would like to have that, and I don't
I think
know,
we should check who's going to be here.
That's
I'm
after
not-
you get done, that was my next question, so I have a couple, but.
let's answer that question first. Anybody not going to be here besides Martin?
For July, I will be here, I will not be here August.
I will be here both.
No time for August, all right.
You will-
Patricia, you're not here?
I'm not here July and August, but I can.
I might make August.
So you can call in. Okay.
Oh, we still need-
So you'll be online July and August? Okay.
Yeah, 1, 2,
I will be
3.
here for all.
I
Okay.
think I'll be here.
Yeah, I think, and I haven't heard from John. Today was unexpected for him. That's something else. Ed, you're going to be here?
I'll have Georgia reach out.
Okay.
Yeah, she usually checks if I don't get an answer like during the meeting, she'll check with whoever wasn't here to see if they'll be there.
Sharks.
Oh, fun, fun.
So my only other question is, besides the budget, is there anything else that you would like at this time that you would like us to bring back to the meeting for next month? Besides the normal stuff, I mean, obviously financials, whatever, so budget.
Do we have any update on when the monument people will have upgraded?
Oh, I have some news on that. Thank you. I forgot all about it. I didn't make my little sticky note. They sold out, merged with some other property company. They tried to throw a whole bunch of things into a new agreement. We said, no.
This was
And
not the design.
No, no, no.
This is the actual sale.
I'm talking the sale.
Yeah. okay,
So
yeah, I saw that.
we reached an agreement that was acceptable. So you will not be obligated past the time of your initial term with the initial company. So whatever the end date was for that, that's the same end date with these new people. No, it's not like a year. I think it's coming up. So we made sure that they tried to extend it and we're like, no. So that your agreement with them will end at the same time that it would have with the old people. We are working through, Chelsea and I met with the monument design person. He is planning to present that at your July meeting. He couldn't make it in time for the June one to get it done, so.
There isn't any rush, so I mean, that's why I would just kind of curious. So. Okay, anything else, Laura, or?
No, thank you for reminding me of that, though. I completely forgot.
So the one conversation I wanted to have was, we have our subcommittees, we have our liaisons for our subcommittees, and we also have people who are kind of responsible for different aspects. Like, we've got Patricia doing a wonderful job on communication. I'm so pleased with the work you've done. We've got Tom, who goes back and tells the board what mischief we're up to for the HOA.
And Perry double checks me.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I would do too. And then we have John for landscaping, Ed for safety and security, and Doug for ponds. I'm here for the comedy relief and basically to wrangle. But, oh, and Marty's bridges, and what else are we going to put you on? We're gonna put you-
Everything.
Yeah,
I'm already on the architectural
oh,
control
you got enough
committee.
issue then. Yeah,
So
okay.
do
So-
that twice a month.
So my question to this group is, I see, we always have a quorum at each of the subcommittees for PPAC. What value are we gaining from having 4 people attending a meeting that our liaison is supposed to be reporting back to us on? Is there value in just hearing things? Is it more of us putting our thumb on the scale than it should be? Those are kind of the things I want us to consider.
So, 4 people attending,
From PPAC.
right?
So we typically have Bob and Carol that are there, then we have 4 members of PPAC, and then we have typically 4 to 6 people that are on a subcommittee.
I-
Who are the 4 members from PPAC? That's what
I do like attending landscape and safety and security subcommittees to stay informed.
Okay.
I do not attend ponds.
You go just to listen though, right?
I go just to listen, and if they need my opinion, I am free to offer it.
And Patricia, do you go in everything?
I go to those 2, and I've been going to ponds, but I didn't go to the one this last
You go again,
Monday.
you go
But I
again
go.
just to listen?
I go to listen and, get background so that when I do communications, I have some
That's a very
start.
But you
rational
don't
reason.
participate, is what I'm getting at. You don't,
Yeah.
I go to
So,
participate.
so last landscape committee meeting, I had a lot of participation in that meeting due to tree trimming and the action that we took as PPAC board and why we took the action.
okay.
But
you know.
He did give a clarification.
Did John attend that meeting?
No.
Maybe I'll have a communication with him. Would you be willing to switch up if we needed to?
Sure, I can do that.
Yeah, if you're going to go,
And well, at ACC and landscape and tie right together
they do, don't they?
from
Yeah.
that standpoint, and then,
I wrote the new requirements on charging electric vehicles too.
There you go.
there you
Yeah.
go.
Okay, so I just want us to be using our time wisely, letting the subcommittees work as they should be without, like I say, us weighing in too much. Because
Look,
we tend to
Patricia's
be,
valuable going just for
she's
her.
very valuable.
She's absorbing information to be able to report.
Yeah.
With a second person there, you end up having all the minutes and approval and all.
Until like October.
You guys had 5 people at one of the meetings. I remember you could have had a PPAC meeting because there were
Yeah,
5,
exactly.
there were 5 people there. Yeah.
And that's why that caused me to think about, is there value in us sitting there? Are we not getting enough information back from our liaisons,
Or from the chairs in their monthly reports.
chairs in their monthly report?
Watch them online.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't need answers right now. I just wanted to hear the rationale for what we were doing. But I think I will ask Georgia to ask John if he'd be willing to switch up his hat
Okay.
for landscape. Because if Marty's going to go already, and John is traveling quite a bit, I want to make sure
Sure.
we've got the best coverage, although they're not meeting.
I didn't even go.
I don't know what the problem is. If you go, there's
Well,
a
if
lot-
there's 2 of you there, it has to be included in the minutes. If there's 2 or more people from
Well,
any
these
committee.
minutes are in here.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is included in the minutes. We look.
No, we have to approve them at PPAC because more people are there.
Yes, if more than one person attends, then we have to approve the minutes from that.
And because Marty is already there and you're going, and then a liaison is going, and a lot of times you're online, that's 4 people from PPAC right there.
I'm as guilty as
So-
anybody. I learned
And
a
Ed is
lot.
there the majority of the time too,
Yeah.
so
I
So I-
still don't understand what.
it's because of sunshine laws.
Oh, I didn't,
So explain that. What is that?
You can't have more than one person from the
we
committee
have a
there
quorum.
because
Hold on.
there's a possibility that you could discuss something that's going to come up at a future meeting and be voted on. Not saying that you do, but because there was, some people ruined it.
Because we're in a
There,
room together.
yes,
Listening to something going on.
yes,
That's against the sunshine law.
correct, because there's a potential that you could discuss
Okay, so then
something that's
it's
gonna come
more
up.
than just curiosity, we need to limit how many people show up.
Well,
But it's only
if,
one.
as long as it's evidenced in the minutes and we sign off on them, it's not illegal.
Correct.
It's just,
More administrative work.
it's a lot more administrative work. But
How much
if,
more?
if there is value in it, then there's no reason to change it. If there,
There's nothing saying that you can't go. It's just that the minutes have to be approved by the subcommittee and then by you guys if you're there. And then when, because Bob and Carol are there a lot too, then they also have to go to the board where normally if it's just the subcommittee or if it's like these PPAC minutes will have to go to the board because Bob and Carol were both here. So instead of the minutes stopping with the subcommittee's approval, they also need PPAC's approval. They also need the board's approval. So it takes 3 months for them to get
On our
through.
agenda and we approve them. Is that-
well, and maybe it's not, but I wanted it to be discussed because I want to make sure that we're allowing the subcommittees the freedom to do what they need to do.
I can see that I just from an outsider's perspective, I really appreciate your concern and I 100% agree with that because I see the difference in the meetings when there's attendance from people outside the subcommittee at them versus the meetings when there aren't people from outside the subcommittee at them.
Lots of times they will ask, for example, Ed, some background information or don't really, I mean, maybe that's where we overstep our bounds is that we what our opinions are on things.
I try not to insert myself.
That can be.
You do a pretty good job,
I try not.
better than certain other people,
I'm
but
there to
yeah.
listen.
Hold
I
on.
just want to say, but there are 2 different ways for what you just said, and I'm with you. To be there, to listen, to observe may be a technical sunshine law thing that we have to be aware of. And to answer a question is okay. It's when you insert yourself into the discussion, and that's not just us, it's the Board of Supervisors when they're there. If they insert themselves into the conversation, attempting to direct it, that's a whole new thing going on right there. So I think that's even more than minutes when you insert, if not asked, and you jump in and you try to steer, and you don't, Marty doesn't.
But I do think that's what the issue is, and I do think, and we should know better than to do that. And that allows.
Well, maybe
the-
that's where we end up, is we just say, please keep yourself in a observation mode.
No, I didn't go to the Ponds Committee meeting, and yet I knew that Safety and Security did not call the meeting to order.
Exactly.
It's been fixed, and the ponds didn't even catch that when they approved it, so, yeah. Can you come, you just,
Marty's at a landscape meeting and Patricia's joining via Zoom.
still counts.
It's still.
The only way
okay.
it doesn't count is if
Okay.
they are online watching it on YouTube, because you can still comment if you dial in through Teams. If you're allowed to discuss and give feedback and have conversation, it counts.
I guess the potential.
Yes.
Okay.
YouTube, you can't, you can
So
only
if you
watch.
go in- So if, say there was just an observation, they would be able to still observe and
If there are
not, and not,
physically more than one person from any committee in the room, it has to be reported in the minutes, even if they don't talk.
on YouTube,
Then it doesn't matter because
then
they
it
can't,
doesn't,
they
and you're
can't
still
inject
able to observe,
themselves.
but it's not as much fun.
Right, because you
So
can't talk.
Right now, you have to post these meetings, correct?
I mean, yeah, the meetings all have to be posted. They're live streamed. It's about a 10-second delay.
Subcommittee
so-
has to be posted whether any of us are there or not.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're all streamed.
But the simple
So-
posting eliminates any of the sunshine law problems.
Correct. Yep.
Well, let's just think
The
about it.
trouble you.
I do have one, I got some feedback on your question earlier about the PPAC. Yes, it was sent over to Pelican on May 5th by Randy, and we do have an opening. So if you guys have somebody that you think might be a good fit, have them apply.
Peggy,
I think we
Peggy,
put out we did put out a notice.
Over a month ago, yeah.
Yeah.
It was May 5th.
Peggy,
They used to run those by Fay.
Make a motion to
get the
adjourn.
approval to put them out.
Yeah.
Those used to be run by Fay to get the approval out, and I know there's been some.
We go through Patricia now, so.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn by Marty. Do we have a second?
Second.
A second by Doug. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are done. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Can you send me an email?
The trouble you started.
I know.
Yeah, I'll close the loop on it.
Thank